Hi, welcome to Illuminated Tarot. My name is Jenna. Today I'm here to do your weekly reading for the week of December 16th through the 22nd. Let me make sure I get those dates right. Well, we are wrapping up Sagittarius season this week. It's the final week. Happy birthday to all of you Sages out there. It's been quite the season. Have you all learned a lot about yourselves the last month or so? I definitely feel like it's been an insightful period of time. It always is, because we're wrapping up a year. We're looking back at 2024. We're looking ahead at 2025 in hopeful anticipation. The most significant, well, I feel the most significant astrological event this week, because I'm such a Earth mama. Anyone who comes into my orbit, I don't know, I emanate this love for the Earth especially. So, and I like to, it's funny because you know how people tell you a characteristic of yourself? And then you're like, I don't really see that in myself. If there's anything that people pointed out repetitively in your life that's been hard for you to actually witness in yourself, try to let it in a little bit more. People say I'm very grounding. And I'm like, really? Because I don't feel that way inside. So just a little, insight there. So that's what I've been kind of working with lately, is recognizing the things in me that people see in me and honoring them and being grateful for them and not admonishing them or disregarding them or discrediting them, because they're your gifts, right? Of course, I would love to be grounding for people. But if I can't be that for myself, then, I'm missing out. It's personal FOMS. Is that a real thing? So the biggest event is the winter solstice. We have that coming this Saturday on the 21st. For those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is going to apply a little bit more to us, not to discredit anybody down south in the Southern Hemisphere, but this is a pretty significant event, and I've really been leaning into it. And it's interesting, kind of, if you think of Mother Earth as her own energetic force frequency, winter solstice is kind of like New Year's Day for Mother Earth. The sun literally dies. It goes through its darkest period pretty much from, they consider the 21st to the 25th for a couple days, and then it's reborn. It might be why we even have this whole concept around Christmas as well. But that's a whole nother story. We're going to focus mainly on the Earth. And so ever since last winter solstice, the sun is reborn. It goes through a whole year cycle where at its midpoint in the summer, it reaches its height, right? And then it declines through autumn until the light finally dies to the darkest night, which is the winter solstice. So, and then it is born again. So we go through this birth, growth, death in nature, and then we go through that ourselves as well. So take a look at this past year. What did you birth? How did you grow? And what are you needing to release, especially with this Gemini full moon yesterday? It was very powerful. Was it yesterday? Gosh, the days are getting all mixed up. The Gemini full moon was very recent. I think it was the day before. No, it was yesterday morning. Gosh. Did yesterday feel like 3 days? Yesterday felt like 3 days. So we're honoring the sun at this time and the beginning of this new cycle. I think that it makes it a really hopeful and exciting time. This new year holds pure potential. I know we celebrate it literally on the 1st, but the Earth celebrates it sooner. So it's a gift, though, that we get to emerge and begin again. We have a chance to go deep inside during this week to allow a new version of ourselves to emerge. So what is it that you want to grow and transform in the year ahead? Take a look at those sort of things. You may be thinking, what will come to life for you this year? What do you want to nurture and grow? What harvests will you work that will yield the best results for you in the coming year? Also, though, because it's winter, and this is the hardest thing for us because we live in a very fast-paced world, a very busy society, and it's important that we don't put a lot of pressure on ourselves right now. It's a deep time for rest and reflection. So it's a time that we need to take in all the experiences and lessons that we've learned over the past year and integrate them into our spiritual core and into our lives. So, and to consider, are we evolving because of it? Are we evolving as a result of this past year's work? So we also need to rest so we can dream new dreams. Yeah. This is the season when we have revelations by turning deeply inward. And when we embrace the quiet and the darkness, you realize that you don't need to do anything in order for the magic to unfold. It truly is the season of receiving wisdom, receiving guidance, receiving the downloads for new information, new ideas to take hold in the new year. So give yourself the space to be still and quiet and to be open, to allow your spirit and your mind to receive the messages. All right. So that's my spiel about the winter solstice. So in the pursuit of me steering away from social media more so, I'm bringing out a poetry book. This is a modern one. This is Young Pueblo. I talk about him often on this channel. This is The Way Forward. And I'm going to read, I picked these out over my morning cup of coffee. And I thought they were very pertinent to this time period. Love is much bigger than relationships. Love is the way you heal yourself, the kindness you give others, the gentleness you give yourself in turbulent times, the space you hold for close friends, the intention with which you live in the present, and the energy that changes the world. Love is every moment that elevates the human experience and all the small things that make life shine. So lean into love this season. This is when we do need to be recognizing the love that we share for our communities, our families, our friends, and to honor that love and to make new memories. That's my favorite part of life. You get to make new memories. Okay, the next one. Your capacity for happiness quietly expands whenever you let yourself sit with your sorrow. When darkness no longer scares you, your mind will be able to perceive more light. Each moment you spend tending to your old wounds makes space for new peace. Each moment of forgiveness gives you new direct routes to joy. When you decide to let yourself feel, unbind, and let go, you naturally start receiving life with gentler hands. The quest you take to free your heart from the past simultaneously elevates your future and improves your ability to love. It is a loving season. It is a loving season. And then this is where we are. This is where we are. Our society glorifies speed, big leaps forward, and meteoric rises, but reality usually moves at a slower pace, especially when it comes to personal transformation. Not every day needs to involve a big win for you to end up in a thriving and beautiful place. Transformation isn't a smooth process. Cloudy days are bound to happen. Setbacks are natural. Down moments are expected. Often, it will feel like you are moving against a strong current of old conditioning, but with time and repetition, this resistance will soften, and the new you will come forward. Our task as we develop new ways of living is to embrace the idea that small daily accomplishments are more valuable than fast results. This is how we build momentum for the long journey. Remember, happiness is not achieved overnight. Peace takes time to build. A healthy mind requires slow and gentle tending. Oh, I just love Young Pueblo. He's just a beautiful poet to emerge in this modern era. Definitely very needed. Whenever I have a little reading nook, I rearranged my entire living room over the last couple of days because I wanted a reading nook, and it's perfect. It's got more light on it, more heat, and I now have my poetry corner, and I'll be communing. I have a new book that's coming today that I can't wait to share with you that I will be reading from next week. And it is a poetry book, and I'm just going to bite my tongue because I want to absorb it before I share it. So there will be modern poets. A lot of you, thank you for your recommendations. I have a list now of people you love, so I want to make sure I include all your favorite poets as we go about the new year. Okay, let's get into the oracle portion of this week's message and call spirit in. Decided to work with the Enchanted Forest Oracle as we are leaning into nature and the magic and beauty of Mother Earth. Okay. Thank you, Spirit, for presiding over this reading for the collective, for the week ahead. Okay. Let's see. Consider these talismans or tools on your journey this week. What you may need. A forgotten arch. Take time to rest and recharge when needed. This is, take comfort, almost like an angel's wing, right? When we need to just rest and relax. Go sit under that forgotten arch. Feel cradled by the light, by the time that we need to sit still. Make sure you take time to rest this week. That's very important. Spirit's emphasizing that. Go under the forgotten arch where new information, ideas, and dreams will reveal themselves. All right. And we have 2 more emerging. Tranquil stream. I'm getting a theme here. Let go of worries and find tranquility. There's a lot of peace. Oh, I just saw 1111. Metatron is showing up here. Yeah, the vibration of peace and stillness is very important this week. So make sure you take time. Some of you are going to be drawn to water. We have hair. Trust in your instincts and follow them. I'm getting a playful innocence here too. Be curious. Be curious on your path this week for what's next. Trust your instincts. A lot of you are getting divine downloads. There's a lot of light being shown through the crown. There might be a lot of light coming in too as well, energetically, through the sun, despite the darkest days. Gosh, there's so many metaphors I can go into, but I'm not going to. I feel like we're going to be talking a lot about the tarot right now. So let's go into the tarot. I'm going to put these here so you can get your own messages. Make sure that's not too bright for you. There we go. Okay, now let's go into the Astro Matrix. Push that forward so you don't see the bottom of that book. Okay. Thank you all for being here. As we wrap up this year, I wanted to thank all of you personally for all of your support, it's interesting. Just for nostalgia, I never do this, and I was kind of like, oh my God, because I was considering changing this backdrop to winter, but I don't want to do it. It's not, I think I'm in denial. I love the brightness. I love the color, and it makes me happy. So I don't think I'm changing it. Despite y'all going, why are you have the sun and this, all this beautiful flowers? It's not the season, but you know what? In some parts of the world, it is. It's the flowers are blooming somewhere. So as I was thinking about changing this, I went back last year to when I had the backdrop just to kind of like feel it out. And I was kind of like, wow, I look back on how different my energy was a year ago. So maybe even look back at your content, whether it's on social media or your film reel, right, in your phone, and look back and consider like the vibration that elicits. And if you journal, look back to last year at this time and think about how much you've evolved, how much you've grown. Makes me wonder what the next year is going to bring and where we'll be in 2025 at the winter solstice. It's just, life is a trip, isn't it? You all me waxing poetic over here because of the season. We should be, right? We should have reverence for our lives. Let's do this. Let's see what the tarot brings. King of Pentacles, yeah. The earth is speaking loudly. There is abundance. Oh my goodness. King of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. Okay. This is going to be a grounded week. Oh my goodness. 6 of Wands. Okay. Well, you all have an opportunity to look back and be proud of your achievements, to feel successful in the stability and the emotional harmony you have created. It really is a moment of reflection this week. It feels stable. It feels successful. It feels emotionally rich. A lot of you have done a great deal of inner work this year, and it shows in the decisions that you've made to create more inner stability, to create more peace inside, the 10 of Cups, and to feel proud of the choices that you've made. I mean, this is This energy is so beautiful. This is sunshine and rainbows, y'all. Grounded in the 3D reality. This is the high timeline. And a lot of you, some people ask me, like, I don't feel like some of these readings resonate, or, this is impossible. And I will tell you, if you look at life from a quantum perspective, there are multitudes of realities in any given moment. Think of all the thoughts you think in one day. All of those create energy. So when I often talk about tarot, what comes through is a timeline that is the biggest pull for that zodiac grouping. And it's where it's headed. So you can actualize that by stepping into the lessons therein. And so what I'm noticing too, emerging from this channel and from these readings, is that a lot of what's coming through is the highest timeline possible. It's really our beliefs that get in the way of us reaching for that and living that out. So if you believe that it's not possible from a subconscious perspective or from a conscious perspective, then it will be a reality you will not live out. So it's interesting when we think of quantum theory and our reality and our perception. You could go really down a rabbit hole there, but I won't. I just wanted to make note of that because some people wonder, tarot is an energy force. And while it is predictive, it is psychoanalytic, and it is archetypal, and it's mystical. And in that realm, it's magical, and anything is possible. So there's a lot to be learned from what it elicits within you. That's what it does. It's there to teach you. It's there to make you feel something. And that's why I do what I do. Okay, just get off my soapbox now. All right, I want to clarify. Let's clarify each of these and why they're here. We have the Ten of Pentacles. A lot of it in the Two of Pentacles. So there's this energy right now of decision making. It's go time, right? These choices that maybe some people are making are around the long-term vision, the long-term future. What do I want my legacy to be? How do I obtain more abundance and prosperity? How do I shift my beliefs? How do I release the patterns and the conditioning and the programming that I have perpetuated in order to reach higher? Because this is definitely an energy of reaching higher. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is the bounty, right? The bounty of the 3D reality of having life's riches and coming from a real stable place. We have Major Arcana clarifying, the King of Pentacles coming out. We have the Hangman and the Justice with the Nine of Wands. It's like, I'm going to protect my balance. I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to rest and be still. This is a calling this week to protect your energy. Some of you were awfully tired. If you're looking back at the last year, you're like, man, I was very productive. I worked very hard. I'm being called to tell you, you deserve to take a break. You deserve to take a lot of the weeklies for this upcoming later this week that I just read for yesterday had a lot to do with taking a mental or physical vacation at this time. That you've earned it. Don't feel guilty for it. Really relish in it. Enjoy it fully. Get your mind off of work. Get your mind off your worries. This is truly, I've been on the battlefield. This is our wounded self. And this is coming into balance from our wounded state and resting. Despite this discomfort of looking at our wounding, we want to ground our energy frequencies, our vibrational energy into the planet. I will teach this over and over again. Our greatest resource is the earth. I mean, we would not be here without it. It literally is our sustenance. It is our nourishment. It is everything. And so if you want an ally in life, you just turn to Mother Nature. Whenever I need to shift the energy, I go out, I commune with the elementals. So Spirit is saying you have an abundant resource at your fingertips at all times for you to shift the energy, right? To come out of your fatigue, to come out of your wanting to protect yourself. The earth loves you, is here for you, is on this journey with you. This is about balance and our enlightenment and overcoming our wounding and looking back, maybe despite how uncomfortable it might be to see our lives from a different perspective. We are looking at how can we achieve more balance in the new year? And do we really want to perpetuate old programming, old conditioning? This is trauma, right? This is finding peace despite the trauma, healing, I like that. I like that. All right, let's clarify the Ten of Cups. Why is the Ten of Cups here, Spirit? Ten of Cups. We have the Knight of Pentacles sideways. While the journey can be long and arduous, our road to happiness, like young Pueblo said, taking the gentle steps, walking lightly. You know, the indigenous cultures call it walking in beauty. Or, you know, the Indian cultures call it namaste, you know, recognizing the soul in everyone's soul. So when you look into someone's eyes, I do that often, you all. I go into the stores and you can tell there's some people that are part of like that consensus reality and they're completely checked out. They don't think for themselves. Then there are other people that are really like attuned with their own frequency and they think for themselves. I'd say that's there's a large population that in our country or in the world that is consensus minded. And then we have a smaller population that is, I don't even know the percentages. I'm sure some of you might want to ring in on that, but that can think for themselves, that are more awakened. And then we have even a smaller number who operate from, I see the soul in you and I'm here to help awaken that within you. So it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Young Pueblo is one of those. Here to awaken people, Mark Nepo, all these people that we go to, we turn to. So I'm saying this because when we see and we recognize the fullness, right, of our hearts in the people that we come across and we slow our frequency down and we get out of that hurried state and we look into the hearts of others and we connect with them on that level. I go in and it's really interesting because I do it silently. I will literally go in front of a register or a person standing in line and I will access their heart frequency and I will connect with them and I will literally say in my mind, my soul sees the soul in you. And immediately I feel the energy shift. Someone's like, getting irritated, they got to wait in line and they're just, you can tell, you can feel people. Even when I'm driving, I can feel people. So this is, sensing the world moving more slowly and connecting energetically with others through the heart space. I see you all doing it. And what is it? It's inspiring. Ace of Wands coming out. The Knight of Pentacles. So a lot of you are looking at planting new seeds and of staying open and slowing your energy down and surrendering. This is beautiful. Oh, I'm getting excited. The collective is shifting. Oh, wow. Powerful awakening. This week has a powerful tone to it. Interesting. There's such a paradox here. There's a paradoxical energy going on emotionally for people. There's going to be sudden ahas by slowing down and resting, epiphanies around what you want for your future. Some of you are making radical changes, radical decisions, radical thoughts. Like this is radical acceptance about what you need to shift in order to have more emotional harmony and balance in your day-to-day and in all of your connections, which is your emotional intelligence, your relational intelligence is the Ten of Cups. And we want to be at the highest high, right? It's not sustainable all the time, but it's there to access when needed. So if I'm having a down day and I'm getting frustrated, I have these techniques. You slow the energy down. Right? There's a little bit of impatience because this was sideways. It's like, I don't want to slow down. Well, Spirit's going to say you better slow down. You can't go full speed and not get fatigued. So the darkness is where we find the light and the seeds that we want to plant next. Think of winter. On the surface of winter, of the soil, it looks like everything's dead. But underneath, these seeds are opening, right? Whenever a butterfly is cocooning, it's dark in there. They don't know. And then one day, they open their wings and they soar. So we have to go into the darkness and trust the darkness. Interesting. There's a lot of messages coming through today. And then we have the Hierophant, the Six of Wands, the King of Wands, sorry. I love it. There's just this fiery, it's almost, when you shut a computer down and you're like, crossing your fingers when you reboot it. Oh, I hope it, still got the juice, right? When you update it or update your phone and you're just kind of like that moment of anxiety. There's like this, almost like this shutting down and like resting and this restoration this week. So when you come back online, you turn that computer back on, you're like Cha-ching! New operating frequency. We are rising to a new operating frequency by week's end. I see this evolution going in. If you do this work, that you're going to find this huge boost of energy. And I'm getting it more so after the next couple of weeks. This is coming in energy. This feels like past, present, future. We have, literally the Six of Wands, feeling successful, triumphant, lit up, on fire. I'm ready to go, right? I'm getting all the messages from the universe. Let's do it, right? It's my LFG energy when I get the Six of Wands and the King of Wands. Coupled with the Hierophant means there's a spiritual commitment to following your passion and coming together with your people. Community mindset, community building, unity consciousness. There's a lot of energy that I'm feeling coming down from this Aquarian perspective. There might be a strong, there's a strong need. This has got, for the larger elements, for the major arcana, we have Taurus, Scorpio, Libra, and Pisces. All of those seem to be really heavily influencing the week's energy. But by week's end, I feel out of this, Starborn Palladian perspective, they're all looking at the Palladian constellation of coming together and like, we belong together, you and me, what is that? We fit like glue. What was that? We're stuck like glue. I don't know. I'm hearing that song, but there's this, puzzle pieces, right? There's a lot of passion moving forward about staying committed to certain strong spiritual soul bonds that are going to help lift you up. People are coming together on the spiritual path. We're talking about that 5 to 6%. I would guarantee you that everyone tuning into this channel is part of that. And more than ever, this is why this community was created. So we have a support system. So we know we're not alone. And anyway, it's just a beautiful thing. So y'all get me all fired up. So grateful. So grateful. All right. And look at that. We have the Sun and the Nine of Wands. Seeing the light through the shadow, through the trauma, through the fear, through the doubt, through the insecurity, through the hurt, through the pain. The light will rise again. All right. This feels like a big week, you all. Letting go, releasing what needs to be released, whatever doesn't serve us, taking a look at our patterning, moving slowly, mindfully, coming together with our friends and family. Let's get the advice. 3 of Wands, being patient for what's next. All right, you're like, okay, I'll be patient. And also, this is looking out at the wild expanse of life with the yellow surrounding him and his red robe, grounding, right? Red is stability. It's our root chakra, being rooted, feet firmly planted on the earth, right? And then being so hopeful and optimistic about what's coming in. Joy, peace, harmony. 10 of Cups. And then all the growth on every wand. There's a lot of growth. Releasing what doesn't serve. Spirit saying this is the time to release whatever limiting beliefs, people, places, things that need to come to an end. And a lot of this, for me, the Ten of Swords from the highest octave is letting go of victim mentality. This person did this and this and this and this, and I'm hurt and I'm wounded. And what does that do? We hold on to it, and it's like a poison in our bodies. And it has its time and place, right? It's there to show us it's a teacher. Pain is our teacher. Betrayal is a teacher. And the biggest thing you can do, especially this season, is to forgive. It doesn't mean you condone anyone's past actions, but you don't let it create more of a poison and a toxin inside of you. And also Spirit is saying is these things take time. Forgiveness takes time, but set that intent. Anyone who did you harm this past year, set that intent. If you're still holding on to the story and it's still on your mind, it's still on repeat, replay, or even if it's from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's over now. If you keep thinking about it, you're perpetuating it. Spirit's saying put some space between you and anyone or any situation that has betrayed you or caused conflict. Interesting how this is coming out, and it's kind of like not coinciding with, it's like the advice. It's almost like the people who have heeded the message of working on forgiveness, self-forgiveness is the big one. A lot of times when we have an injustice, well, we didn't have the justice. You know, this is alchemy. Spirit is saying that a lot of people have done that work to give themselves the time and the patience to sort through the wounding and the patterning and the trauma. And the fight is over now. The fight is over now. Spirit's saying, walk away from anything you're holding on to that doesn't serve you. Stop fighting for a fight that's already over. It's a strong message for some of you. So a lot of you are looking back and saying, it is over. This is literally walking from the battlefield. And we had the Nine of Wands here. So whatever battle that what was your personal battle? Sometimes it's us against ourselves and our behaviors and our thoughts. So whatever has been your personal battle this year, some of it's around career, feeling stuck, wanting more. You're taking a look at that and you're saying, I need to make peace with this personal battle. And I need to let go and surrender it and walk away. All right, now let's get a few affirmations. These are going to help you. I want to talk first about what we all are working on releasing as a collective in 2024. What have we been releasing as a collective, Spirit? I'm just curious. What have we been working on releasing? Okay. Ah, I see. This card is about new solutions. So what we're working on is creating solutions with ease where you're open to receiving the answer. So a lot of us, when we're trying to hold on to control, we're attached to something. There's expectation. So when we come up with new solutions, what we've been working on releasing is our wanting to control outcomes. And when we let go, we actually create solutions with ease and we're open to receiving the answer. So I'm reading the opposite, because when you have a new solution and you're willing to be easeful about it, right? And be open, it is a relinquishing of control. We want to create new solutions for our lives and we want to have teamwork mentality. So what we've learned this year is how to come up with new solutions by letting go of control to the problems and distortions, right, that come up in our lives. And I say distortions because a lot of it comes down to our perceptions and the way we think. And then teamwork. I welcome help and guidance from those aligned with me, which if there's been any kind of resistance for letting help in, I'm getting this receiving. A lot of people were this, small percentage, right? The awakened ones. It's like I'm pouring out, right? And I think the biggest message of this year has been, make sure you fill your own cup. If you don't fill your own cup, you're basically putting all of your energy out, right? And nothing's coming in. So Spirit is saying that welcome help and guidance. Some of you are resistant to that because you are trying to, right? Hold on. I gotta be the one. I gotta be strong, right? I can't surrender. This divine feminine, softening. All right, now what are we welcoming in for the new year? I'm just curious because this. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. Second to last week of the year, facing fears. Facing fears. That did a 360. Be seen. Facing fears so we can actually be seen in our vulnerable selves. That is the divine feminine. She's open and receptive. The divine masculine is outward, right? The divine feminine is open and receptive. She receives wisdom. She receives abundance. All right. So what are the biggest journeys for the upcoming year is to face and release all fears around anything in your life. We're talking everything. What are you afraid of? You're going to be looking at it. I think Spirit's going to direct you to that in the coming weeks. And you're going to be working on this whole paradigm this year, facing fears. Like, what's holding you back from being on your highest timeline? What is it? Getting honest with yourself. Self-honesty is a big part of the path. So we can be seen, right, for who we really are. I inspire others when I allow myself to be seen. That's the biggest thing that I love about life, is that we are all so unique. There is not one single person on this planet that is exactly the same. Even identical twins, they form their own habits, beliefs, patterns that are separate. There's a lot of similarities. There's some overlap. But that's the thing, is that the more we recognize how unique we are, the more we're going to honor other people. So, and their uniqueness. So 2024 had a lot to do with receiving help and guidance from others, coming up with new directions, new solutions. And now we're going to be facing fears. Ultimately, it looks like 2025 has a lot to do with being absolutely seen, being absolutely authentic, being absolutely our truth, living our truth. Okay, now let's get into Mark Nepo for the final poll here. Oh, I didn't do self-care, but I think we went long enough. This is December 16th, fully knowing the road. If you come to a fork in the road, take it. Yogi Berra. Like the koans of Zen monks and the wit of Shakespeare's jesters, we may never know if the sayings of this baseball legend are utter nonsense or utter wisdom, but the longer we stay with them, the more they reveal. What this one says to me is not to stall too long at the crossroads of life, not to hesitate our way out of living. We can't experience everything, and taking one road will preclude another. But agonizing over which to take can eventually prevent us from knowing any road. Even when taking one road, keeping the other alive in our mind for too long is the beginning of regret. In fact, giving over to regret is a way to resist our limitations, a way to still take the other road with us. Interesting. That's why with the Ten of Swords. It's the heart's way to be stubborn. Ultimately, keeping the other road so actively within us only keeps us from fully knowing the road we have chosen. We are beautifully limited creatures, capable of great moments of full living, but we can't have it all or experience it all. We can only paradoxically experience, that's interesting how I brought up that word. We can only paradoxically experience all there is by giving ourselves completely and humbly to the small path we are drawn to. And that's, yeah, it's interesting because it was like, yeah, maybe that's what we're working on, giving ourselves completely and humbly to the path we're drawn to. Center yourself and consider a decision that you are facing this week. Breathe slowly and try each path on once, no more. Return to your day and try not to replay your choices. Simply let your deeper self tend to these things for you. Interesting. Well, you all, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Enjoy the solstice. I'm going with my family to the big city. We're going to New York City. We're going to see Anne Juliet. I can't wait. Staying in a really fancy hotel, going out to some delicious Italian food, going to the shops, Rockefeller, all that. So I'll be doing that. I'm going to try and I'll get out the rest of some of the content that you already saw yesterday for the 21st to the 31st readings. I'm going to try to maybe get out a little bit of the annual readings. We'll see what happens, but I will have a few day departure probably from posting unless I double down the next couple days. So have a beautiful lead up to Hanukkah. I'm not sure when Kwanzaa is. Sorry about that. Christmas, all that. I'll be reading for you. I will be here reading for you next Monday. I'm going to set aside some time for that. So I will be here for the final week read for the year. Namaste, everyone. Take care.